Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Second City podcast. This is my third time recording this intro, so I'm very sorry if it sounds a bit
He's had
rehearsed.
enough of it
Uh,
already.
I
We've been
have.
gone 2 months and he's.
It seems to be working this time though, so we're all good. Thank you so much for joining us again. It's been ages since we did a sort of a normal format episode, really. The 7th of October was the last one, I believe, that we did. So nearly 2 months ago now. But thank you so much for joining us. We got so much to get through this week. My name is Daniel Sketchley.
And I'm Callum Byrne.
Yeah, it's definitely working this time. We're good, Cal. We're good.
Yeah.
We're all good. It's been a bit of a mad couple of months. Really busy. Callum, you've been away traveling with work a lot, and it's all been a bit busy, really. And obviously, we had a trip away last week, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But how have you been? You're good?
Yeah, very good. Very good. But yeah, it's been very, very busy. So a holiday was much needed, which we will talk about. I got a cheeky trip into Ireland to go see some family as well, which was nice. What about you, Dan? Are you keeping well?
Yeah, good, thanks. Well, since we went away last week, I've definitely come back with a bit of I apologise if it's obvious. My voice is a little bit croaky. Been a bit of a cold when I got back, but I can't complain. At least I was ill when I got back, rather than
Yeah.
I could feel just towards the end of the trip I was coming down with something. But that's better than being ill in the build up and when you're there, so I can't complain too much. And yeah, I've been good. Went to the Blues on Saturday for the 150th game against Norwich, which we'll also talk about. Um, so no, yeah, I've been good. I've had how long have I had off work? I've had 2 weeks off work. We don't really get time off over Christmas because it's like shift work and so on. So we just have our holiday to use, and so I've had to coincide with the trip. I just thought I'll have 2 weeks off work, so that's been really nice as well. Despite getting ill, I do feel like I've kind of recharged a little bit. So like that, do feel like I've had a good break. Um,
And
so
it's an
yeah, can't
important
complain really.
period to recharge now because
Yeah.
a lot of football coming up over the next 5, 6 weeks. It's that part of the season now where the games just come thick and fast, one after the other, one, next one, next one, next one. And it's probably one of, if not the most defining point of the season. This sort of festive period through December and January. At the end of the season, we'll look back. You always look back on moments through the year, and I think one of the big periods where you look on whether the season was a success or a failure kind of hinges on this part of the season. The start's out the way. I look back to last year, we went on a bad run in the run up to Christmas and we lost a lot of points and we missed out on the Champions League by a point. I think about you guys 2 years ago. This was sort of the core Rooney era, which ultimately led you to being relegated. So this is a huge part of the season in terms of the football. And so it's a good point to come back in now, I think, for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, it's the longest period really in the football calendar for an English team where you don't have a break really. I mean, it's you have three international breaks by November, and then you have one in March. I think that's right. And then so now it's November through to March, and you have all of Christmas, all of New Year's. It's absolutely relentless. But like you say, I think it's because where momentum is most defined, I think, in a season. So yeah, it is probably the most important chunk of a season. Absolutely, it's where you kind of live or die, really. You can't blow your season before this, but no, you can't make your season before this, I should say, but you can definitely ruin it. And now it's time to kind of kick on and see where what we're all about, really. I think there probably is. We're going to talk about obviously we'll talk about our trip and we'll talk about Villa played Leeds at the weekend, so we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Blues and the 150th. But there really is only one place to start, I think, and that was how Blues kicked off the 150th anniversary celebrations. Because I think this isn't just something that is of interest to Blues fans. I think it's of interest to. We are the Second City podcast. We are a Birmingham or West Midlands podcast, and so everyone's kind of got an opinion on this. I think, and obviously it's been making some headlines nationally. And that is the Blues Stadium reveal that was unveiled by Tom Wagner at Digbeth Lock Studios on Friday afternoon. I watched it. Cal, you didn't watch it live.
I didn't watch it live, but I did see a clip popped up on my Twitter feed the
Yeah.
other day, and we'll put it in now and see if you notice anything.
Don't worry, Villa fans.
This isn't really going to happen.
An absolute pipe dream. Yeah, so that little snippet you heard there,
Yeah,
um,
that's us, isn't it, Dan? That's
that's
definitely
us,
us.
yes. That's gotta
Yeah.
be us.
So,
Yeah,
so
very quite funny, I think. I don't know.
yeah,
So how did you? So you sent me this,
yeah.
saying.
So
So what's the story there? Did you recognize it yourself?
yeah, so I didn't find the clip. The clip that I saw was from the Birmingham Live's Claret and Blue podcast, where there's a section of Matt Kendrick before our brief cameo, and anyway, that was part of the clip they shared, and I listened to it, and I had to listen to it again. I was like, that sounds like us. I'm sure that's us. So I went onto the official video, found the timestamp on it, and went, that is definitely us. And so I sent it to you. I put it in our group chat. Everyone seems to. There's a definite consensus that that is us. So Tom Wagner, you clearly watched the Second City podcast. You didn't have permission to use that. I want some royalties. Um, you know.
Yeah, it
Otherwise,
was a bit
otherwise we're going to
surreal.
sue you so badly that your Chat GPT stadium won't get built.
We're not going to sue you, Tom. Don't worry. You can do it. Like it was. Yeah, it was weird because you shared it and said, "Oh, is it just me or is this me?" As in like yourself.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, it is." And obviously, I'd watched it live and I watched the bit. I watched it probably like 5 or 6 times just to check it was you. And our mate Liam had to point out that it was then me afterwards
Yeah.
speaking. I still didn't. I was speaking directly afterwards. I still didn't clock it was me. Um, the what? So I obviously the difference between me and you on it is like obviously you're like, oh, where's my royalties? I actually
Yeah.
think it's like it means someone's watching the podcast and that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I know. So I think it's quite
It's
cool to be
all in
involved in it.
jest.
It's all yeah, it's all I think it's all cool and yeah, pretty cool to be involved in it. The one thing is it kind of stitches me up a little bit. It
Yes, it
kind of
does.
makes
An absolute treat. Hook, line,
it
and
kind of
sinker.
kind
Dan's
of
a Villa
makes
fan.
because the line before you is saying something like "Don't worry, Villa fans," and then you then it uses a clip of you saying. Obviously, we just played it, like saying, it's never going to happen. I do not know what context I was saying. It's an absolute pipe dream.
Yeah.
I probably said something like, "Oh, it sounds like an absolute pipe dream" or something. But obviously, I'm all in on the new stadium, so I think it's very exciting. Yeah, I kind of have to laugh about that. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
funny, to be fair. But yeah, I felt because at
Get it
first I
on
was
the
like, "Oh
back of
my
your
God,
shirt,
I'm in the
Dan.
video,"
Pipe
and then I found
dream
out it was like
2025.
I was I had a few people text me because I put it on like my Instagram and a few people just texted me saying absolute pipe dream and just that, which I think is pretty funny. No, very funny, very cool to be involved. Even if it did make me sound like a Villa fan. But let's get into aside from our Hollywood status now. What do we think of it all? What do you? We'll come to me afterwards. What do you think? I know you're not a big fan, but let's get into it. The design is out there, should we say? It's a
The
hugely
design,
ambitious design.
the design is out. Look, the design is outrageous, and if they do build it, and we'll come on to that being a big if, in my opinion. Things that I've already said on this podcast many a time, and we'll cover it again. But if they build that, it'll be it's outlandish, isn't it? And look, I'm all for. It's probably got a few too many chimneys for my liking. I think you could have done.
12, yeah.
Did you ever see the? I think Chelsea did a mock-up of when they wanted to turn Battersea Power Station into a stadium, and so you would have had the one tower on each corner. And
Yeah,
I think if you'd have done that, that would have looked really cool. But they're obviously going for like this sort of bowl stadium. This is kind of the norm now, but at least it's a bit different. I've
exactly.
been to St Mary's and the King Power are the same stadium with different coloured seats, for example. They're both very nice stadiums, but they're identical and they're just generic football stadiums. So if you do get it built, it's going to be unique. The stadium name is going to be called. There'll eventually
The
be some sort of sponsorship rights in there, you would think. But
yeah,
was it the Powerhouse
the
or
Birmingham
something?
City Powerhouse Stadium.
So it'll
Yes,
just be called
yes.
it'd probably be
The
called just known as the
Powerhouse. Yeah,
Powerhouse, which I'm on board with that. I
I
think
like it as well.
that's a good name.
It's a bit American, but I
Oh, yeah,
quite like
the
it.
whole thing's very American. It's very Tom Wagner, isn't it?
Yeah,
The thing with the design I don't like, other than the fact that the amount of chimneys is a bit comical, is that it has clearly been made by AI, and I don't agree with that. There's so many good designers out there, and maybe I'm wrong, but it looks very AI.
it
And if
does.
that is the case, that's a real letdown just in terms of the industry that we both work in. Um, you c- do you know your owners have got a lot of money, do better. Um,
Yeah, I think the fact obviously we don't know if it's been done in AI. And AI is such a broad term now. It can
yeah.
be, but the fact it looks a bit AI is maybe a criticism, if you know what I mean. It can be a criticism
I
in and
think,
of itself.
and if it isn't, the reason is partly because if you told ChatGPT, "Can you make me a football stadium with loads of chimneys and stuff," and it does do random things like if you puts just 12 in there,
Yeah, yeah,
for example. So we'll see. But that's kind of a separate issue, really. But
sure.
do I think this stadium gets built? I'm still saying no, and that's
That
not
that
me
clip will
trying to
be
be.
that clip will be used as well in a few
That's
years' time, or in the
that's
next series of
fine.
the Amazon doc.
That's fine.
Um,
Um, but for the reasons that we've said before, there's no planning permission. You own the land, but there's no planning permission to build that stadium. And when we talked about Villa expanding the North Stand, one of the big issues that held that up was that Witton railway station had to be upgraded first, because if that didn't happen, you were never going to get planning permission to do it, because you can't cater for that extra 3 to 5 thousand fans to get in and out, basically. And this is the issue we've talked about before at this particular site. The public transport links are not very good, or they don't exist really. And so
No,
it
but
is going to need some sort of rail, whether it's the tram, whether it's a new railway station, more buses, which is all going to come at the expense of the transport provider. And there's no guarantee they're going to want to commit to that until there's a spade in the ground, for example. So my feeling is that that land will probably, I might be wrong. My feeling is on the 24th of November 2025 is the same as it was in whenever it was first announced in 2023. That land will probably become a block of flats at some point, and Tom Wagner and co will make a lot of money.
probably, but they will make more money if it becomes this massive this massive stadium that can host NFL. And so I watched the reveal live, and I thought, for one, I thought the video was great. The reveal video that they put together to kind of announce
100%,
everything.
100% agree. I know a few people that worked on it.
Uh,
From the bits that I saw, it looked brilliant.
yeah, it got you really kind of hyped up for it, and I think I liked that Jude Bellingham was involved. I think that was great. I liked the Peaky Blinders thing with Paul Anderson in character as Arthur Shelby. I know a few people have kind of cringed at that, but I really liked it. I thought that was kind of a bit tongue in cheek. Um, when the design actually came up, I was a little bit like taken aback by it, but uh, my thoughts on it are if that gets built like that, it will be like a world class, world renowned, a truly instantly iconic stadium if it gets built like that. I think people now are kind of
Yeah.
looking at it as some photos and don't know what to make of it, but can you imagine seeing that? It would be amazing. Can you imagine that at night? It would be incredible. I actually think I kind of like it's a lot, obviously it's a lot to look at. I actually think doing it as like a brick style though of the chimneys is obviously as it's a chimney, but that might actually help it not date as much as well. I
Yeah.
think stadiums are so hard because they do date like a brand new stadium now. In 20 years, Spurs' new stadium, best
Well,
stadium in the
take
world,
the
will be
Emirates, for
like,
example.
it'll be outdated all of a sudden. Exactly. Yeah. Wembley, the new Wembley. I love the new Wembley, but it is, it doesn't look as new as the Spurs stadium now or the Everton stadium, because it's not. Um, But and I do think though to be building a stadium in this era though is much better than you mentioned like the Southampton Stadium and so on. I think like that sort of turn of the millennium era was like the worst era to be building a new stadium because they all look the same. Like Coventry, Derby, Southampton, Leicester, Sheffield United maybe. I don't know about that one so much. No, maybe not that one. But like them sort of just carbon copy, just different coloured seats, exact same stadium, no character, no personality. This is the opposite of that, and we've been lucky to go to some great stadiums this year. We went to like the San Siro
Yeah.
like in March, and like Como Stadium, like just so much character, and like I would much rather them do something outlandish and ambitious like this than a very basic, easy,
100%.
safe design.
100%.
So that's exciting, and some of the images they put out as well of like the whole site and what it's going to look like, and like it looks like a place for everyone, and incorporating it into on the canal and then the statue out the front. It all just looks, I don't know, it is very exciting. And then also the interior looks amazing. Like you mentioned a bowl design, but inside it will look more like it will look more like four sides. It looks a lot like Everton, obviously, the new Hill Dickinson Stadium. And then there's some designs inside of it as well of like from inside you can see the pillars, the chimneys rising up in the distance. That I don't know, the thought of that is pretty exciting, I think. So I'm pretty positive on it all. Obviously, I would be, obviously. But it's out there. It's every time I look at it, I'm like, whoa, that is out there. I've never seen a stadium like it in my life though, and that's a positive, I think. So that's exciting.
Something I wanted to ask you about it, Dan. Um, I'm not trying to trip you up, and I'm not trying to do anything. Obviously, the capacity they've got of the stadium of this new stadium is going to be about, I think it was 62,000.
62.
So
Yeah, I
that's
think it'll be the
more.
fourth. biggest
Yeah,
stadium in England or the
so
fifth
that's
biggest
the
stadium in
that's
England if it's built.
yes, that's more than double the current capacity of St Andrews. And I know they want it to be like a multi-purpose arena because they want to bring the NFL and things like that. And I think when we talked about this before, I don't want the NFL at Villa Park because they're going to tear the pitch to pieces. As whereas this will be a bit like Spurs or the Bernabeu where there's like multiple pitches they can swap in and out. Are you a bit worried that you might not fill that out? That's a lot of 62,000. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, right now that
Obviously Birmingham's a massive city, but that support is divvied up between the four Midlands clubs plus you've got your Man United fans and your Arsenal and your Chelsea fans.
yeah, I mean, right now that wouldn't happen. Clearly, the goal is by the time we get there. I mean, they're saying 5 years, they think, which is one thing I think is very ambitious. Um, their logic is by then or soon after will be the plan. It clearly is not for us to be just a Premier League team. They want us to be like a top, a top gun. They want us to be right up there. They're not building a stadium for Birmingham City as it is now. Their plan is to make us. It sounds ridiculous right now, but they want us to be a top eight, top six Premier League team regularly that will attract those fans internationally. That's clearly their plan. Yeah, it's super ambitious, but I get kind of similar to the design. I'd rather us be super ambitious with it, and I do keep going back to this thing as well. Like I know you mentioned it's the multi-purpose thing, and you don't mean specifically for that. To me, it's crazy that like major bands. I know we've had a few at Villa Park,
Mhm.
but most of them go to Coventry now because it's easier
Yeah,
and the
it's
access is
true.
way better and it's a better built stadium for concerts. I know Villa
And
Park
it's
is
easy.
big, but
Well,
it's
the main reason as well, it's probably easier to get people in and out from Coventry. It's close to Birmingham International than it is for Villa Park. Villa Park, if you don't drive, is a bit of a pain to get to and from.
100% and parking and all that jazz and the trains and all that nonsense. Going back to what you said earlier about, and it kind of ties into all this whole thing about they're not building it for how they see us now, they're building it for what the plan is. Going back to like the whole transport thing, you're right. That's all got to work as well. I mean, there's been talk about a tram that will take you from New Street or from town out to East Birmingham to the new state, the sports quarter site. HS2, if it ever gets built, I think the stame's going to be right near
I wouldn't
Curzon
rely on
Street.
that.
No, but the plan clearly is the plan is clearly for people to be carted in from London if they want to come see like whoever's big and playing in concert or see the NFL. It's this almost idea of shrinking things down, if you know, in a weird way, like shrinking London, the route from London to Birmingham. They want all these people coming from here. I think that's a challenge they will have, though, is and bring it on because if it works, it'll be amazing.
I
But it's
agree.
that thing of getting casual people out of. I think the Keeper on podcast was saying this week, getting people out of central Birmingham, casual people, not football fans, to come into East Birmingham to. Which at the minute, there's nothing there. Like, people don't do that at the minute because there's nothing there. Getting people to come out from there to go and eat at one of the many restaurants that are going to be out there, or uh, you know, there's probably going to be some sort of student housing on the site as well. It's all it's the stadium is going to be the centerpiece of a much much bigger thing, which I think for the city is going to be absolutely amazing, and for Blues maybe even more so. Apparently, Tom Wagner was saying he thinks in turnover it'll do like 750 million a year or something absolutely crazy. It's mind-blowing numbers, and I couldn't help but watching it thinking about like 3 years ago, I was watching us lose, like I could be any myriad of game,
Pick a
finishing
team.
20th, yeah, finishing 20th in the league every year, and it just being miserable, like, and then obviously getting relegated at the end of it all. So it is pretty mind blowing to see. I don't know as well though. I'm kind of championing, sorry, the design a bit. I know I was in the minority though. Earlier this year, I don't know what you thought about this. The Man United stadium design came out.
Hmm.
I didn't mind it. I thought it looked interesting, but I don't
My,
know,
my
like,
my thoughts and feelings on that stadium are identical to the Birmingham City announcement. That my
mm.
thoughts and feelings are exactly the same. You can copy and paste everything I said 10 minutes ago and change Birmingham City to Man United, and my thoughts and feelings are identical. I don't think that stadium gets built either.
I think with the Man United
I don't think
thing,
they can on that. I don't think it's actually feasible for them to do it on the patch of land in the first place, really. Not without disrupting a lot, including there's bits of that land that at least you own the land. There's bits of that Man United stadium they don't even own the land to. There's other companies. There's a train depot there, for example. Well, they're not going to sell that land, are they? But not for an extortionate amount of money.
Yeah, and I mean they're kind of similar in a way as well in terms of wanting, and both trying to do something, I guess, kind of iconic. Like, the chimneys thing is not, it's a functional thing as well because like the Wembley Arch, how the Wembley Arch
Mm.
helps support the
Yeah.
roof, like the chimneys do that, and then they've said the chimneys are going to be like, like at the San Siro, you've got like the spirals to get you up to the top. The chimneys will do
Yeah.
that. There'll be
The
elevators in
Etihad as
there.
well.
The Etihad, yeah. Like they reckon at is it the North Tower, the North Chimney, there's going to be a bar at the top, and it'll also be like when you go to like a major city and you have like a
Mm.
lookout, and a viewing deck to view the whole city. All of that sounds incredible. And the Man United thing was kind of similar because they were going for like a trident. They wanted like the three spires to be like a trident in the sky, didn't they? I wonder if we'll start seeing this more regularly, like new stadium
Well, I was
designs
just about to say, you talked
want to
about
be
the
something
new
iconic.
Millennium stadiums like the Leicester and the Southampton. The influence in stadium design now is all coming from the stadiums we've seen built in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and places like that, where they've got all this oil money and they're just doing the most outrageous stadium designs possible. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, ah, well, never mind. We'll go and build something else. And so we're going to see this sort of. That's why I've kind of joked about like this sort of AI design. It could be that Birmingham. I do think Birmingham City will probably. You do need a new stadium, and you own this bit of land. It's probably maybe it's most likely we get a quite a slimmed down version of what we've seen today. Maybe not as many seats, probably not as many chimneys. So maybe as time progresses and designs are finalized and transport links are finalized and things like that, maybe a version, maybe we're in 10 years we're looking at it going, oh, it's not what we thought it would be, but it, we'll see.
We will see. Well, it's very exciting in either way, and I think whether you're a Blues fan or not, I think it is certainly something to keep an eye on, and we will keep tabs on it as we go, throughout the months and years probably. But yeah, I'll get my feelings on it are overall. You might well be right. They might slim it down. They might have to adjust things, but the fact that we can come out on the world stage now, and that's something in and of itself. So yeah, very exciting indeed. Speaking of stadiums, before we move on to Blues and Villa, should we have a little chat about what we've been up to the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, let's do it. So we went to
Yeah,
Prague for four nights, 5 days, something like that.
it was 4 nights. Yeah, well, we came to yours the
Yeah.
night before, and then got up early to fly the next morning and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And in
yeah,
which we went to the Sparta Prague Stadium.
yeah, had a little stadium tour there, which was pretty nice. The Letna Stadium so it's pretty central to Prague as well. It's not far from like the old town. We got like a little tram, and then you walk through like one of the major parks, Letensky Sadi, I think it's called. Letensky Sadi, I think it is. And then that takes you right into the stadium. So we've been lucky. We've done a few of these stadium tours, like I mentioned this year. But it was kind of nice doing one that is really rough around the edges. I know the San Siro is rough around the edges, but it's also like a super iconic, like monolith stadium. It was kind of nice doing one is really kind of battered and bruised, and
It
like,
really reminded me. I went to Santander in the summer, and so I went to the Racing Santander Stadium, and it's just very similar vibes, very rough around the edges, and it's not one of these like it's not like Tottenham Hotspur's, super clean, squeaky glass and steel um, shopping centre. Basically, this is like these are proper football stadiums,
yeah.
old, characterful, concrete. They've seen some sides, and this one in particular is a bit like that.
Yeah, it was no, it was fun. We had a nice tour guide showed us around, and it's all a bit. They took us into the changing rooms and showed us like a video of kind of an inspirational. I think it was the game when Sparta Prague got into the Champions League, and
Last year.
Last year. Thomas Rosicky, is that how you say it? I think he's like the director of football there now or something. Obviously, you probably remember him from his time at Arsenal. Was a great player. But yeah, it's a real like rough around the edges stadium, and it's over 100 years old now. I think it was 1917 it was opened. And Sparta Prague are like the most successful team in the Czech Republic. Interesting though, like when you're being there and then seeing the Blues announcement like a few weeks later, like Blues are saying Blues are gonna have this 62,000 seater stadium. We're at Letna Stadium, and they said it's the biggest stadium in the Czech Republic. It's got 18,000 seats. It's
Yeah.
like it's pretty crazy. That's not like I don't know. They're as
And they
obsessed
can't
with
build
football as we
they
are.
can't build the stadium any higher than where it already is because they're not allowed because it'll block the skyline of the buildings around it.
Yeah,
It's It's
But
mad,
I bet
really.
I bet it's awesome on a match day because you've got like
Yeah.
it is so close to the town, and there's like and yeah, it's got that real like hostile feel that like I think the best old grounds do have. But it's really interesting whilst we were there because obviously the international break was on, and it turns out so the Republic of Ireland, who very I've got for those watching, I've got the shirt behind me here for one of my Ireland shirts. Obviously had a huge result away at Hungary to win 3-2 to take them through to a qualifier for the World Cup, and they're going to be playing the Czech Republic away, and they fully might be playing at that stadium, so that's really cool as well. Um, but yeah, what did
And if
you?
and if they are, the away fans are going to be in a. We saw the away end. It's a
Yeah,
cage.
it's a cage. Yeah, so just thought, yeah, it's literally a cage.
It did
Um,
have, well, I would say, so you've got this really rough around the edges stadium. It's old. The away end is in a cage. And then like almost like the most bougie hospitality area I think I've ever seen. The Batano
yes,
Lounge,
the
which is like
Batano Lounge.
on the
Yeah.
corner flag. It's like on the corner flag, this like platform with two sofas on it and a mini fridge, and you're underneath the big LED screen. I don't know. We'll try if we've got any videos or
I've
pictures.
got
We'll put
some.
it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
We'll put it up now. It is bizarre because if you did that in the UK, I mean, it might be bizarre in the Czech Republic anyway. I don't know. We've not been to
I
a
think it
match
would
there,
be like they seem
but if you
like
did
the
that in the
type
UK,
that you know.
you'd just get abuse from your own fans. Let alone the away end's only half, like a quarter of the stadium away from you.
Oh, 100%. It did look a bit out of place there, I must say. But it's quite a cool little novelty as well to have.
Yeah,
It's a weird spot as well where like because I think so on the tour and we as I say we had a really nice tour guide, a really good like little tour, lasted about an hour. And he took us up onto the gantry and we had a nice view of the pitch. And I think I said to you, I was like, "Oh man, everywhere in this stadium you got like a good view and all that." And then we turned around and the gantry is clearly covering like two rows of seats. Like there's
yeah.
very much like restricted view, right at the back there. Um, normally when we do these tours as well, like sort of at it when we went to Milan and so on. I might get like a shirt or something. The Sparta Prague home shirt though, from I don't think it shows as much on the video, but in person, little too Villa for my liking, a little too
Yeah.
close. Would have been not. I would have loved to have got one,
But
but
that's why I didn't buy the Como home shirt. Do you remember when we went to
yes, yes,
Italy?
yeah,
It was just a bit too blue for me.
yeah. Good. I think it's like I think on the videos it looks more red. In person, it looked a little more like on the cusp
Yeah, it's
of
quite
Villa colour.
burgundy, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, but I think because it's Adidas and it's Patano as the sponsor as
Mm.
well, there's too many parallels, so I couldn't quite
Yeah.
do that. Um, But also did a bit of research and turns out that Villa have never played Sparta Prague. Blues have. We played them in 1946, October 1946 in a friendly, and we won 3-1. So 100% record against the best team of the Czech Republic. I'll take that.
We could have played them in the Champions League last year because we were both in the Champions League in the same season, but we just didn't draw
Oh,
each other.
of course, yeah, of course. Maybe someday in our new stadium we'll welcome them. Who knows? But no, we had a lovely few days away. Us two and our mate Will came with us. So yeah, what did you make of Prague on the whole? Did you enjoy it?
Loved it. Loved it. I
Awesome, yeah.
mean, what a gorgeous city. The architecture is just stunning. It's nothing. It's the sort of play. No
That
modern.
was a bit that was a bit
What?
partridge, that one. That was a bit partridge, that
Oh.
was. The architecture is just stunning.
Well, the architecture is stunning,
It is,
and
yeah. It is stunning, yeah.
it's the sort of city that no modern city will give you that sort of architecture. Really, it's not skyscrapers. It's all cathedrals and castles and things. And no, I really enjoyed it. It's very pretty. We missed the Christmas market and the big Christmas tree they put up in the old town square by 3 days. So
Oh, did we? That was that
yeah,
close. Well, that's a shame. But no, it's beautiful. Yeah, nice people, lots of cheap beer. That was good. Um, we had a big night out one of the nights, which was
yeah.
was a thing. But no, yeah, great
Not
time.
sure that footage is making
So
the
yeah,
pod.
no, it's not. It's not. But yeah, so thank you to the people of Prague for having us for a few days, and good luck to Republic of Ireland in March as well when they go there, because that'll be really exciting. On a side note, when we got back, so we missed the Ireland game unfortunately because we were out. The Scotland game was on when we got back, the night we got back. Did you see any of it? The
I went to
Scotland.
bed.
Oh, it was. Well, I got back. I think it was like 40 minutes in or something, and Scotland Denmark was unbelievable. It was like I mean Lyndon Dykes going to the World Cup. Come on, amazing. You missed out there. It was an amazing game. Amazing game.
Anyway, let's move on to the games that have been in the. I mean, we're not going to cover nearly 2 months worth of games. So we'll just touch on the last couple really. So you had Blues' 150th game. Villa played Leeds on Sunday. Um, you went, I
Yes, tell you
assume.
what, should we start with Villa, Cal? 'Cause we've had a lot of Blues stuff
Yeah,
so far. I know Blues played Saturday, but let's start with you, if that's all right. You played Leeds away. I know they're not in great form, but it's Ellen Road, never that
yeah.
easy to go to.
Well, funnily enough, they said on the commentary, and I it took me aback when I heard this, and then you think about it and go, oh yeah, that's probably right. We haven't lost at Ellen Road for over 20 years. Um, and then I think about it, and there was a big period where Leeds weren't in the Premier League, and so we obviously didn't play them. So, um, but we've tended to, well, but since we got relegated, we have played them almost every season. And we haven't lost up there. So obviously when they said that and we were 1-0 down at the time, I was like, well, here we go. This is gonna be now you've said that, it's gonna be the time where that record goes. Um and in the first half we were turgid. We were awful in the first half. We conceded a really poor goal, I think after 8 minutes, scrappy. Um where the goalkeeper doesn't do very well, but the defending isn't great either. And then it's all comical. The ball's cleared off the line, and as Konza smacks it off the line, it just hits a player 3 yards in front of him and goes back rebounds into the back of the net. It's like it is just like a really scruffy, comical own goal. One of those own goals that you always say only my club could concede a goal like that. Um, and we kind of struggle, and we did struggle in the first half. Brendan Aronson had a really good chance. Watkins had a decent chance as well. He was very unlucky, just went wide. But I was a bit concerned at half time. Emery clearly was made two changes, but Daniel Marlon on, but Ian Martin on. Instant impact. Marlon sets up Rogers, and it was just the perfect time to score straight after the half, 1-1. People are, the Leeds fans are still getting back into their seats, and it's almost like, right, it's a complete reset. The first half is now really behind us, and we can just play our game from here. Um, and it was bookended by Morgan Rogers scoring his second, an absolutely a wonderful free kick. The goalkeeper could probably do a bit better, and he isn't right in the corner, but the technique to get it up and down over the wall is fantastic. Um, and for a player that really struggled at the start of this season, he's really starting to find his form again, and probably thanks to the amount of minutes he's had for England. So thank you, Thomas Tuchel, for playing him back into form. Um, and a huge win, a really big win. And it's funny, we're up to fourth now, and it really doesn't feel like we've got going yet. We obviously had we had quite a bad start where we didn't score in the first five, winless, I think, in the first six. We had a small bump in the road where we had two bad games away at Go Ahead and at Anfield. Um, but we're one of the most consistent teams in the league at the moment in a year where maybe other than Arsenal, is really inconsistent, which is how after such a bad start we've kind of flown up the table in the last few weeks. Um, so it is exciting. I did put a bet on in the international break for us to win the league at 300 to 1.
Oh,
Um, 300 to 1 for a quid. What's a quid for those odds? So, um,
true.
I don't, it's, we're on for the treble still, Dan. So,
Oh, here we go.
so,
And where do you go from here then? So who have you got next? Can you see this? Is this just going to keep rolling, or do you think it's
yeah, well, we
a
got
good period?
Wolves on
Oh,
Sunday. So, thankfully it's at home, because if it was at Molineux, I'd be quite worried, because we just don't turn up at Molineux these days. But I mean, our home form pretty much since Emery has come in, and in particular over the last two seasons, is it's almost perfect. There's been a couple of bumps in. I think it's like three or four defeats in like the last 2 years almost. It's so I don't fear it in a weird way. It's the same as like when Bayern and PSG came to Villa Park. It's like these are great teams. We're at a period where we don't fear anybody at home. The away is a completely different kettle of fish. Go ahead, Eagles is a perfect example of that. But yeah, it's exciting, and look, there's a lot more to come from this Villa team, and there's still some. Ollie Watkins desperately needs to find some form, not only for us, but if he wants to go to the World Cup next year. And there's definitely a confidence issue there. And I love, me, Dan. I love Ollie Watkins. I have a lot of patience with Ollie Watkins where others don't, and he works very hard for the team, even when he's not scoring, when the goals aren't flowing for him. So. Hopefully for us and for him, he finds that golden touch again. And I'm hoping, all he needs is one to go in off his arse at the moment, and it might just find him might just get him back in a rhythm, a bit of confidence again.
Yeah.
I think regardless, I know we're still in November, but I'm thinking ahead to January, and I do think we'll be in the market for a striker potentially, even if it's just someone that can rotate a bit more. Daniel Marlin's starting to find some form. He's getting a few more minutes now at least. Um, but there was no Harvey Elliott in the squad again, so I think it's fairly safe to say that come January it might be C'est la vie.
What a
Um,
weird one that was. What a weird one.
what a weird one, but maybe not a coincidence that the sporting director went just as soon as the window closed. And there was rumours at the time that Emery didn't want Harvey Elliott, and I think we're starting to see that that maybe is the case. So I was more annoyed that he took the number 9 shirt, to be honest, more than anything, and that's why he doesn't deserve to play. And that logic I can live with because
That was
why has he took
crazy.
the number
Yeah.
9 shirt? So,
Scandalous. Yeah.
but after a poor start to the season, things are on the way up, and we're in Europe on Thursday, and looking forward, looking ahead, and bring on the next fixtures. But yeah, that's us really. So let's talk about Blues, Dan, because you played Norwich at the weekend. New manager bounce for them allegedly was going to come. Philippe Clement just gone in there, but so you had the new manager bounce versus the 150th anniversary. I mean, we had
Yeah.
ours last year. It was a very special occasion, even though ours was like the third round of the FA Cup, but it was a great thing to be at nonetheless. Um, and it must have been the same for you. I mean, it's a pretty cool anniversary to be able to celebrate with your club. I mean, I can only imagine like I know they probably didn't make a big song and dance of it 50 years ago, but the 100th anniversary for a lot of clubs must be like incredible. So we probably won't make the 200th. It'll be touch and go.
Oh, I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope I made it 200. Like, I hope so. It's not, I'm not that old. Um, uh, no, yeah, yeah, it was good. Obviously, first and foremost, we absolutely smashed it on the pitch. We won 4-1 against Norwich. So, no new manager bounce, which is wonderful. They've got Philippe Clement in there now, who obviously was at Rangers. Um, and we absolutely battered them. Norwich were awful. Like, the only thing they had was a couple of times. Sorry, go
They're
on.
in real danger of being in a proper relegation battle, which is rare for them in the championship.
They've got 9 points after
Yeah.
16 games. That is abysmal. Like that's abysmal. They cut us open a couple of times, but and they probably shouldn't have scored the goal they did. I think it was some slightly slack defending from us. We were 3-1 up at half time. We were 4-1 up after about 55 minutes, and then kind of just took our foot off the gas. I think. And even the fourth goal, I thought the fourth goal just summed it all up. Damari Gray, who's not the biggest man in the world, managed to wrestle off a defender and threaded a ball through to Stansfield that looked like it was really under hit. But Shane Duffy at centre back is like, look, I like Shane Duffy, I ex Ireland and so on, but he's so slow that like Stansfield just like strolled past him and then chipped the ball over the keeper to score a fourth goal. We absolutely bullied them. Marvin Duksh is an absolute revelation. I think I said this on the catch-up episode I did a couple of weeks ago. 2 goals, absolutely terrific, and kind of proper poachers goals as well. Davis knows his best team now, and that's so. I know Peck is out. Peck is out injured, but this team feels a lot more settled now. Patrick Roberts and Tommy Doyle are Premier League class players. I said it on the catch up I did. Smokey Awata at right back has been. I mean, he's keeping Asai Samuel, who's a very competent right back,
Imagine
out of the
saying that
team.
at the start of the season.
When he put him in against Wrexham, I was at right back. I was like dumbfounded. Now it's again, he might have got there as a bit of an accident, but it's worked wonderfully. Neumann and Clara at centre back look absolutely immense. Beadle probably should have done better with the goal we conceded, but he also made some really big saves later on in the game, so I think you have to give him credit for that. I still don't think we have a great goalkeeper at the club, but I'm encouraged still, and I think everything else is looking so good at the minute. Three straight league games we've scored 4 goals in. So 4-0 against Portsmouth, 4-0 against Millwall, 4-1 against who we played
Norwich.
at the weekend, Norwich. Oh, thank you, completely slipped my mind. Um, yeah, we looked excellent. Gray got. I know he does get a bit of stick, and I can see why at times, but 2 assists to his name, 2 goals for Stansfield now. 8 goals for the season already after 16 games. I mean, I know you call him Pensfield or whatever you call him, but
Yeah.
Two goals from open play at the weekend. One a header, one a lovely chip. Can't complain at all. Um, it was terrific, really terrific. It felt like a game from last season, honestly, where we kind of were just pinging the ball about after a bit, and the atmosphere was really great to start with the 150th, and I think because it became such a routine that maybe the atmosphere almost couldn't keep up with that. It couldn't maintain that really. But really good, really, really encouraging. The 150th celebrations on the whole, I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a major, it didn't feel like a huge, huge thing, but I thought it was a nice commemoration of it all, if you know what I mean. So the stadium reveal was a big deal, obviously, which came on Friday. There's a few ex-players came along for the game. McCall Fussell, obviously a proper Barclaysman, one of my kind of favourite Blues players ever. A lot of people's favourite Blues players ever. Um, uh, so he was there. McCall Fussell did a lap of the pitch at the start and was taking a lot of time for photos and autographs and stuff, which is really nice. Um, we did a tifo. I don't know if you saw that. What did you
Yeah,
think of it?
not my favorite. I think it looked a bit AI, definitely club funded rather than fan funded, I think, by the looks of things. But I'm all for tifos, so I don't mind. We had a tifo. We've sort of been tifo FC for the last year and a half. We love putting one up at the moment, so I'm all for that kind of thing, really. But as long as when they're fan funded, they're always much better as well. So, but obviously, it's a lot to ask people to dig into their pockets.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's tifo. I like that we did it. It wasn't my favorite design. It was cool seeing it go up. I'd never been to a game where
Mm.
one's been used before. Um, I think it's something in the UK we're just not that great at. It's not something we've done for a long time.
It's
I
coming
thought,
back though. It's definitely coming back.
yeah, like the Arsenal one, I thought in the Spurs game on Sunday was really cool. Yeah, I think for a first attempt, it's pretty good. But
Well, the
yeah,
first, the when you start doing TiVos, the first ones they get better and better and better. It's the same when we started doing them in the Champions League. The first one against Bayern was a bit naff, but then by the time Club Brugge and PSG roll around, they were pretty good.
yeah,
Sunderland have had some really good ones in the last for the playoff semi-final and the first home game back, and um, yeah,
yeah,
and I like the Arsenal one was good as well, even though I think that one was quite obviously club funded.
yeah, for sure. So look, on the whole, absolutely outstanding. So yeah, 4-1 against Norwich, can't complain at all. A bit of a nice parallel as well that the last time we played Norwich was the day we got relegated, and I think they got in the playoffs. And we beat them 1-0, but they got in the playoffs and we got relegated on the last day in 23-24. So 18 months is a long time in football. Like that's that's all I'll say. And I'd be worried if I was a Norwich fan for sure. Cool. Shall we move on to the upcoming games then? So we're both playing in midweek this week. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned you're playing Wolves at the weekend in the league, but you got Europa League first Thursday night.
Yeah, weird. It's going to be a weird one. 5:30 kickoff on a Thursday night. So if I were you, I'd be avoiding town rush
Ugh.
hour because that's going to be mental. But we haven't really got out of second gear in the Europa League. I was talking about this with my dad actually after the last time game, which would have been Maccabi, where I think did we only win 1-0, but it was kind of. Oh no, we won 2-0, sorry. I think I forget. But it was a bit flat for many reasons, but we weren't playing sort of the electric football that we can play. Um it just reminds me of when the start of the 23-24 season in the Conference League group stage, we rotated a bit and we really just tried to get through games, win them, but without exerting too much because we were going full tilt in the Premier League. And while we're pacing ourselves a bit better in the league over the last two seasons, the Champions League was a complete different kettle of fish. We had to go full tilt in the league stage, otherwise you're not going to get through. And so you're seeing in the Europa League, we should. We should, and it doesn't mean that we will, but we should get through the league phase in the top eight and avoid the playoff because I think we're more than good enough to do that. It's just we're trying to manage ourselves in a way that we can get through games. It's probably not gonna be scintillating. It's probably not going to be the best you'll ever see Aston Villa play. But if we can get through games 1-0, 2-0, no injuries, not overdoing it if we don't need to because the games are winnable. And it's a weird game because it's another team we had in the Champions League last year that we've managed to get in the Europa League this year. Um, I expect we'll be quite comfortable. I'll probably say we'll win 2-0 probably. But it'll be for us. It's just a case of as soon as we get the first goal, I'll relax a little bit, and then yeah, might come back to bite me. But I had to say this earlier. I don't fear anyone at home, and I'd be very disappointed if we didn't come away with 3 points on Thursday. Wolves, on the other hand, on be Sunday. That's a big game. I know they're winless, but it is a local derby. And I said when we lost at Molineux 6, 8 months ago, we don't really treat this game like a derby. Wolves do, but maybe we should because they keep getting results against us, especially at Molineux, even though we've won the last few at Villa Park. So I do think we'll win, but I think they're going to be a bit better with the new manager bounce, you would think. And they're going to be up for it. That they haven't won a game all season. What a point for them to try and get their first win away at Villa Park. So that's the big game this week, really. That's the important game, and we've got to make sure we get 3 points in that. And with the way the league is, who knows where we'll be at the end of it,
True. If we just touch on Wolves slightly, I know we had a lot to get in, but I think you've been a bit generous to them there. I know I like Rob Edwards. I think that to me though is an appointment. Excuse me. That is an appointment for next season. That's to get them
Yeah.
back into
Oh,
the Premier League.
what is
Uh,
he doing? Why is he taking that? I don't
I
know
do,
why he's taking that job.
I get why he's
I
taking it because I
do
think
it.
he's like
Yeah.
he's a Wolves man, and he? That's his club. Um, I think you'll smash them. They lost 2-0 to Palace at the weekend. I did some number crunching as well. I didn't write any of it down stupidly, but so Wolves are on 2 points after is it 11 games, 10, 11 games? Whatever we're up to anyway. I had a quick look and they've got less than Derby 2007 had at this stage, less than Huddersfield 2018 had at this
They've
stage,
got less
less
than Southampton last
less
year.
than Southampton last year. Unless there's one I don't know about, no team has had a worse start after this many games.
Yeah.
I know they drew Spurs and they drew. Who else did they draw? They drew someone else as well. Um, but I think it's like they lost five, drew two, lost five. So it must be 12 games in. Sorry. I think for them to go to you is a nightmare at this point. You're playing really well. Uh, Strand Larson must be kicking his heels. He must be absolutely livid. But no, I think he'll be walking the park. I really do. It pains me to say it, but I think he'll walk all over him. I would love FA Cup third round, Wolves at home. That's
Oh
how bad they
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Because I think we
That's
bat. I think we beat not bash them, but I think we beat them at home.
yeah.
Cool. Shall we move on to our fixtures then this week? You mentioned you've got a derby. We've got a derby of our own on Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
Bit more of a derby
If
than
if
Villa
you
Wolves, really. But
yeah, West Brom to me is my second big. Other than
yeah.
Villa, that's my biggest game as a Blues fan. I never really like knew many Wolves fans growing up, so it was always
Yeah.
Villa and Baggies.
Same.
And like my granddad's a Baggies fan and everything, so I got a few good mates that are Baggies
Our
fans.
mates, I was gonna say we've got a mutual friend.
Yeah,
He's a Baggies fan.
absolutely. And I said on my Birmingham City podcast a couple of weeks ago, I would have taken 4 points from Norwich and QPR. 4 points from Norwich and West Brom still stands. If we go to West Brom and get a draw, that would be a good result. Win your home games, draw your away games. They obviously were. They lost at the weekend to Coventry, despite being 2-0 up. Jason Malumbi obviously got two yellow cards and now he's suspended. Coventry could have had like six though. Like once that happened, like I think it was 2-1 when Malumbi got sent off, and then Coventry were 3-2 up within like 10 minutes. It was like so. First half they looked good. To be fair, West Brom they looked better, but this season they have really flattered to deceive. I
Mm.
know they beat Oxford. They came from behind to beat Oxford the other week. But otherwise, they're really not very good. They don't look that convincing to me. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Blues fan. I don't think they look that
The
good.
bubble kind of burst a little bit after they had a good start to the season, but
Yeah.
they're kind of being where we probably expected them to be, which is sort of mid-table, up and down, and
Well, I mean, they're 17th now. I mean, like they're kind of they've got to be kind of careful. Like Ryan Mason, I like as a coach, and I do think he deserves time. Um, but it's West Brom are a club. I feel like whenever it's gotten bad for them, they still find a way to like
Mm.
kind of creep in into the playoffs and like find a way through it and so on. Um, I don't see that happening this year, but you never know with them. Our record against them is pretty good in recent years. We lost to them the last time we played them under Tony Mowbray. Actually, it was one of his last games. But before that, we won the four times before that, including we beat them away 3-2 when Scott Hogan scored a hat trick about 3 years ago. I would love that again. But I would take a point. I think a point would be excellent. It's a big game. but I'd argue one of the biggest games Chris Davies has had as the manager, really.
Yeah,
But
probably.
I would take a draw, but I think we could beat them. Obviously, our away form is the concern, really. Our away form has not been great this season. If our away form can start matching our home form, then that would be incredible. But yeah, no, exciting. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock kickoff, live on Sky. I just missed out on a ticket, annoyingly, so I won't be going. But I'll be watching keenly, so that should be really good. Um, and then we've got Watford. They've moved it to the Monday night, annoyingly, Monday 1st of December, which is a bit annoying. But I'll maybe touch on that next time because that's a full week away at this point. A lot will change between now and then. And I think that pretty much wraps us up for this week, Cal. Apart from one other thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you saw this. We had the first second City derby in this podcast's lifetime this week. Did you hear about this?
I did, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was a draw, but it was in the cup. And
It,
so
that's not how it works.
just like the EFL trophy, you get an extra point for winning on penalties.
It's
Um
not. That's not how it works.
it,
Callum's playing difficult there. So for anyone who missed it, so Villa women and Blues women played for the
yeah.
first time in about I think it's about nearly 4 years, about 3.5 years. They both played on Friday night at the Bescott Stadium in Warsaw, and Blues won on penalties. That's all that really matters. Sounded like a bit of a mad game though, to be honest.
Yeah, it was 3-3, wasn't it?
So. It was, yeah. It was Villa had gone down to 10 men as well. Wilms had been sent off only for Louis to make it. I can't remember her first name. It's got a long first name, but Louis scored for Blues women to make it 3-3 in the 91st minute, and then Blues won 4-2 on penalties. So yeah, pretty crazy game. Um, but hey, look. So what can you say? New stadium come in, proven their best team in the second city on results. Won 4-1 at the weekend. Come on, mate. It's been a good weekend for Blues. It's been a good weekend.
We'll let you have this one. We'll let you have this one, but we're still top of the group, so you can have your extra point. I hope you're very happy.
True.
And anyway, we should probably wrap up. We're going to wrap up the podcast there
Oh,
before
here
you
we
have a
go.
chance to respond to that. So, thank you very much, everyone, for
Sure.
watching. It's been great to have you back. Hopefully, we're back on a bit of a good run now, especially in the run to Christmas. We'll obviously have the end of year review is going to be coming up soon. We'll definitely record that over Christmas. So there's a lot of good stuff in the pipeline. And yeah, thanks for sticking with us. Hope Tom Wagner's watching again. He clearly loves our videos. And that's all from us though. And up the Villa.
Cheers, Cal. Keep right on. Shit on the Villa, and we'll see you next time. Take care.